What if the world's only witness to your final moments was your own phone? On September 28, 2020, Joyce Echaquan, a 37-year-old Indigenous mother of 7 in Canada, pressed go live from her hospital bed. What she captured was not comfort or care, but insults, racism, and neglect. Within hours, Joyce was gone. This is the story of how she live-streamed her own death. Joyce Echaquan was an Atikamekw woman from the community of Manawan in Quebec, Canada. She was a mother of 7 children, a partner, and a daughter. To her loved ones, she was gentle, resilient, and deeply rooted in her culture. To her community, she symbolized strength in the face of generations of struggle. She lived a life balancing the challenges of being Indigenous in Canada with the love and responsibility of raising her family. On September 26, 2020, Joyce checked into the Joliet Hospital in Quebec. She was suffering from severe stomach pains, a condition she had battled for years. This wasn't her first time in the hospital. She often told her family that she didn't feel safe there. She feared being mistreated because of her Indigenous identity. 2 days later, her fears proved devastatingly true. Lying in her hospital bed, Joyce sensed danger. Her pain was worsening, and she felt doctors weren't listening to her cries for help. Instead, she heard mocking voices, cruel comments, and open racism. So she did what few would think to do. She took out her phone, opened Facebook Live, and began recording. Her live stream captured nurses speaking to her in French, calling her stupid, telling her she was better off dead, mocking her Indigenous background, and suggesting she was only there for drugs. Joyce lay there, in pain, struggling for breath, while the world watched. On the live stream, Joyce cried out for help. She pleaded for dignity, but instead of compassion, she was met with scorn. Viewers watched helplessly as her condition deteriorated. Hours later, Joyce Echaquan died on that hospital bed. Her death was not just a medical tragedy. It was a human one. When Joyce's video spread across social media, outrage erupted. Thousands saw and heard the racism firsthand. There was no denying it. Indigenous leaders across Canada condemned the treatment she endured. Her family was left shattered. 7 children now, without their mother. Protests erupted outside the Joliet Hospital and across the country. The name Joyce Echaquan became a symbol of systemic racism in healthcare. The Quebec government launched an investigation. The hospital staff involved were fired. Officials apologized. But apologies couldn't undo the trauma Joyce experienced or the legacy of discrimination Indigenous people face in healthcare. A coroner's report later confirmed what Joyce's livestream already revealed. Her death was preventable. She didn't die only from her illness, but from neglect fueled by prejudice. The legacy, 12 to 1,400 hours. In the wake of her death, her community demanded change. Activists called for what became known as Joyce's Principle, a framework ensuring Indigenous people in Canada have equitable access to healthcare, free from discrimination. Her story became a rallying cry not only in Canada but worldwide, shining a spotlight on the everyday racism faced by Indigenous peoples. Joyce Echaquan's final act, live streaming her death, wasn't just a plea for help. It was an unshakable piece of evidence, proof of the cruelty she endured. She should have been cared for. She should have been protected. Instead, she was mocked until her last breath. Her courage forces us to ask, if she hadn't recorded it, would anyone have believed her? And that is why the world remembers her name, Joyce Echaquan. Finally, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, and share this video with your families and friends. See you in the next video.